They're saying I'm dating too much in my 20s. Okay, I'll stop. I'll just be single for years. Now they're saying my album Red is filled with too many breakup songs. Okay, I'll make one about moving to New York and deciding that really my life is more fun with just my friends. Oh, they're saying my music is changing too much for me to stay in country music. All right. Okay, here's an entire genre shift and a pop album called 1989. Now it's that I'm showing you too many pictures of me with my friends. Okay, I could stop doing that too. Now I'm actually a calculated manipulator rather than a smart businesswoman. Okay,
There are moments in a person's public life where you can see the exact second they stop performing for the audience and start speaking for themselves. Most people in the spotlight never find that moment. They rehearse their humility, they choose their words for maximum approval, and they walk off stage the same way they walked on, carefully. But every once in a while, somebody steps up to a microphone and says something that doesn't sound rehearsed at all. Something that sounds like a decision they made a long time ago, finally said out loud. That is what happened when Taylor Swift took the stage at the 2024 Grammy Awards, accepted Album of the Year for the 4th time in her career, and looked at an audience of millions and said, simply, she decided to stop trying to please everyone, and that is exactly what she did. Let's slow down and look at what was in that speech, because if you only watched the highlights you may have missed how much ground she covered in under 2 minutes. She talked about moving to New York, a decision that was publicly mocked, dissected, and treated as a publicity move when she made it. She talked about how women are picked at for their bodies, scrutinized and criticized for things men in the same industry are never asked about. She acknowledged being called a calculated manipulator. She said the word out loud, calmly, and kept going. She talked about being positioned as a villain in narratives she never wrote and never agreed to. And she acknowledged the moment people started saying she was only relevant because of the man she was dating, that her music, her tours, her records, all of it, was suddenly attributed to someone else. She named all of it, and then she said she stopped caring about any of it. There is one moment in the speech that landed differently from everything else. After walking through all the ways she had been framed and criticized, she arrived at the most personal one, the suggestion that her presence in people's lives was only because of a man. That the billions of streams, the sold-out stadiums, the record-breaking tours, were somehow connected to someone else's fame. And instead of getting defensive, instead of listing her accolades to prove a point, she did something more disarming. She said she really liked his songs. She said it plainly, warmly, without a trace of sarcasm. And then she moved on. That single move, acknowledging the person, not the narrative, was more powerful than any rebuttal she could have given. It was the response of someone who is no longer interested in winning an argument. Someone who has already won. The most powerful thing you can do when someone builds a cage around your story is to simply refuse to live inside it. The reason this video clip keeps going viral, the reason it keeps getting cut into shorts and shared across every platform, is not because Taylor Swift said something that had never been said before. It is because she said something that millions of people, especially women, have felt for a long time but never had the stage to say. The experience of being criticized no matter what you choose. Stay single and people have opinions. Fall in love and people have opinions. Be ambitious and you are a manipulator. Be vulnerable and you are unstable. Be public about your joy and suddenly your joy belongs to someone else. The trap of trying to please everyone is that it has no exit, because the terms keep changing. The goalposts keep moving. And the only way out is the one Taylor Swift described. You stop playing the game entirely. What people said about her. Calculated. A manipulator. Only famous because of who she dates. Moving to New York was a PR stunt. Her body is public property to comment on. She writes songs about every man she meets. She is too much. She is everywhere. What she chose instead, 4 Grammy wins for Album of the Year. The highest grossing concert tour in history. A $1 billion catalog she owns. A relationship she does not explain. A speech that changed the room. A life she clearly loves living. The real lesson. Here is the thing about the speech that most breakdowns miss. Taylor Swift was not standing there as a survivor delivering a wounded testimony. She was standing there as someone who had been through the fire, decided it was not going to define her, and built something extraordinary on the other side of that decision. The lesson she was delivering was not, "Here is how I suffered." It was, "Here is what happens when you stop letting other people's narratives determine your choices." She moved to New York because she wanted to. She fell in love publicly because it made her happy. She made albums about her life because that is who she is. She did not ask permission. She did not adjust for approval. And when the criticism came, and it always comes, she processed it, wrote about it, performed it in front of millions, and kept going. That is not resilience as a performance. That is resilience as a lifestyle. What makes this clip so rewatchable, and what makes it worth a full conversation, is that the advice at its center is genuinely hard to follow. Stopping to please everyone sounds simple. In practice, it means tolerating being misunderstood. It means watching people form opinions about you that you know are wrong and choosing not to correct them. It means accepting that some people have already decided who you are, and understanding that nothing you do will change that, so you may as well do exactly what brings you joy. Taylor Swift figured that out earlier than most. And on a stage in front of the entire music industry, she told us about it in the calmest, most matter-of-fact voice imaginable. She did not shout it. She did not cry it. She just said it, looked out at the room, and smiled. Because she already knew how the story ended. She had been living it for years.